mean I listen to Rob talk, high frequency God talk, paint pictures with these flows like I'm Bob Ross.
Amari Stoudemire, six-time All-Star, joining the conversation. Amari, you bring a very unique perspective. Obviously, we all know the success you had with Nash on the court, and then you were an assistant on the Nets, and also you're a black man who is Jewish. What was your reaction to Kyrie?
I mean, my initial reaction was, what I've noticed throughout the years of Kyrie is that he's a guy who's really trying to find his identity, right? He's on this quest of searching for information and knowledge, and while acquiring this type of information, he got to be more mindful of doing more research, checking your sources, reviewing before you actually, promote anything.
It.
Right, exactly. And I think that's something that Kyrie's probably lacking right now, is that he's not really doing the full vetting of what he's promoting, and I think that's getting him into trouble.
Absolutely.
I want to get to Kyrie Irving in 1 second, but I want to make a bigger point that I think a lot of people have missed that is worth our attention and time. So, over the last several days, I've heard a lot of people come out and speak against Kyrie Irving, right? Which they should. I get it. On the lack of due diligence. I watched the entire film. I watched the entire thing. There's a lot of things in the film I disagree with. The curiosity nature of it is interesting. But I will say this. Where is that same attention and energy for the platform that is promoting it and profiting off of it?
Tell them keep that same energy, J. Will.
I don't hear any of that talk around Jeff Bezos and Amazon. I don't hear anybody talking about that. I hear everybody skewing their anger towards Kyrie for taking a picture of it and tweeting about it. Now, there deserves to be more context there from Kyrie. I think where Kyrie lost a lot of people is the unwillingness to go to the podium and expound upon the points that he learned from watching this. Right? And actually coming out and saying, I don't stand about calling Jewish people the devil.
Right.
And there was a lot of misinformation. But
So technically, he did do that. I mean, he did talk about how there were some unfortunate things in there that weren't true. But selective listening and selective paying attention would not allow you to see that, now would it?
this is my main point from watching this. But I go back to the bigger macro point.
One thing.
Here she goes. I see why Jalen Rose. Never mind. It's not my business.
It is irresponsible, even if you have curiosity. It is
I agree with you,
irresponsible
Molly.
to amplify messages from Hitler.
Apparently, unless you're Jeff Bezos and Amazon and you're profiting off of promoting the messages of Hitler, as seen here, we can just scroll and then we can click on the Mein Kampf, and it's actually got 4 out of 5 stars. Wow. Interesting.
I agree.
Ever on any,
right.
on any, and that's not. I just want to make that.
No,
and you didn't allude to that.
So then, what's your point? Why'd you interrupt the man?
But ever under any circumstance.
Yes. So why is it on a major
100%.
platform? Why is the major platform amplifying it? Kyrie amplified it, the 14.7
I'm not defending
million.
them
I understand.
either.
I think that's a great point. But the platform is profiting and promoting it to billions of people. If that is so, the anti-Semitism, if that is a thing, and I've called a lot of my Jewish friends. We have talked about this. I get it. Kyrie Irving deserves a lot of heat. Then put heat towards something where it deserves it too, and that's on the platform. And I feel like that whole thing is being missed here as everybody. And I get that Kanye tagged onto it. It's a bigger conversation.
Yep. You're right, but that doesn't also excuse.
It doesn't excuse it. I'm not saying it does.
Kyrie, and I want to
I'm
get
just
to
bringing
the
up a valid
Nets.
point.
Why are you bringing apples to the conversation when we're talking about oranges, Molly? Come on now. Stay on topic. Keep up. Keep up.
Does it excuse the Nets from not punishing him in any way? And Stephen A., I want you to get in here on the Nets' handling of Kyrie.
First of all, Kyrie's a dear friend of mine, an exquisite box office drop-dead basketball player. I love Kyrie, but he needs to be punished.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, Jay, you're not wrong, but how many times have I had to lecture you, my brother, on the fact that it's not about you being wrong, because you're not wrong, but accept reality for what it is.
Kids, if you're watching this, don't listen to what he said. To a certain degree, yes, but accept reality for what it is. If we accept the reality for what it is, there would still be whites-only water fountains. We would still have to sit at the back of the bus. We would not have the civil rights that we have today if we accepted reality for what it is.
I remember when the hip hop industry was religiously excoriated for their lyrics, but we didn't pay any attention to the companies hiring them and pushing artists to do the things that they did as it pertained to the lyrics they spewed and what have you.
Who is we? But go off. Cause we do and we have tried to hold record labels and things of that nature accountable. But if you listen to what Ye has said over the course of his tirades, there's a piece in there that you might have missed where he talked about the powers that be being too powerful and that they can drown out the you get it. You get it.
We didn't pay nearly as much attention to the record companies as much as attention as we paid to the artist.
Who is we?
That's a long-held argument that no one can deny, yet no one really cares about. At the end of the day, Jeff Bezos is worth billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and we know that, okay? We know how much money he's worth. You know that you can sit up there and compromise his bottom line if, you call out Amazon for putting it on their platform, blah, 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 right? We know that. But at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving is the superstar athlete who decided to do what he did in terms of promoting and pushing it. He says he didn't promote, but when you put it on your platform, and you're talking about, it was the truth, well, then evidently that's how you feel and you were promoting it. So he's talking out of both sides of his mouth there. Having said all of that, here's what it comes down to when we look at the Nets situation. The Nets have handled Kyrie badly from day one because what they did was they allowed him to come into the organization and basically say you could do what you want to do.
Thanks for watching. Shout out to Jay Williams, kind of, sort of. I mean, I have to give grace sometimes. Sometimes, especially with the job they have, they're forced to come with the hot takes quickly, right? So they don't necessarily always have a lot of time to really contemplate their positions on situations. And I don't really know how the dynamic of what they talk about really goes. But when somebody's on a quest for their identity, especially, let's remember, Kyrie's 30 years old. And he's given several interviews, and I don't know if people are hard of hearing or hard of comprehending or both, but he's already made it clear as to not what was unfortunate about it, i.e., what he does not agree with about it. Now, you can infer that the rest of it is something that piqued his interest in the realm of his religion or his identity. Duh, right? Duh. So, as Jay Williams, I guess he had an epiphany. Shout out to him for having his epiphany. He said that, like I said, he's echoed a lot of the sentiments that we've expressed over the last couple of days, which is Jeff Bezos is skating off scot-free from this. He's just making the money and reaping all the benefits from everybody that's going to rent the documentary now and buy the book and buy the documentary. He's making out quite well. And so all Jay Williams is saying is, hey man, I haven't heard, he actually said Kyrie is getting heat, rightfully so. That's what he says, rightfully so, he understands. But where is the same heat for the platform that houses this wretched documentary that you speak of? Like, these are not his words, I'm just saying, this wretched documentary that you speak of, like, why are they, able to absolve themselves from any type of responsibility at all? And after his beautiful soliloquy, Molly, well, not even after, Molly chimes in and interrupts, as she often does. Irrelevant. But somehow she wants to keep spinning it about punishing Kyrie. Punishing Kyrie. So if you listen to the language these people use, punishing Kyrie, that's all they worried about. She's worried about punishing Kyrie. Jay Williams never said that Kyrie should never shoulder any blame or face any repercussions for what he did. He never said that. He's only saying, Molly, that the entity that houses the actual DVD, or keep saying DVD, the actual documentary that y'all despise so much, is not being held accountable at all. At all. You see how that works, Molly? Now, I don't know. I don't want to, say that you have an agenda, but it seems as though you have an agenda. And you would be better off admitting it. It would feel great for you to just release that from your chest. Release that. Because it seems right now, Kyrie lives rent-free in your head, just as he lives rent-free in Stephen A. Smith's head, and has been doing so for a long time. Just because we know that it's messed up, Stephen A., doesn't mean we have to accept that it's messed up, Stephen A., which means that at some point, and I know you probably, I don't know where your mindset is, but see, our generation and the generation beneath, like lower than, like after me, we're more so set on changing the status quo. We're not sitting here comfortable tiptoeing on the eggshells that y'all have been. We're not doing that. We're disrupting the shit now. Like, just because that's how it's been and that's the unfortunate realities, we don't buy that. We don't stand by that. And so that's why we have no problem calling out the bullshit and actually disrupting it and making these waves that has you sitting here talking about it all the time, that has Kyrie living in your head 24/7, 365 days a year without paying a single dime.